Hello, my friend, and welcome to Pro Wrestling Daily. My name is Aaron Machbitz. Let's talk about the July 13th edition of Monday Night Raw. Now, first, I really did enjoy the July 13th edition of Monday Night Raw. I thought if you could describe the show in one word, it was focused. They set up a lot of different things. They touched on almost everything heading into SummerSlam, and I think the show was really well done, and it was a good show, and I enjoyed it. A couple things that stood out for me. One were crowd reactions. Crowd reactions to Obafemi and LA Knight. Obafemi's crowd reactions continue to get bigger and larger, and his momentum is trending upward. And WWE really here does have lightning in a bottle, and if they can capture it, use it, Obafemi is going to become a massive star, and he's going to be a world champion very, very soon. Because of that, I think Roman Reigns beats Seth Rollins at SummerSlam to continue building up Roman Reigns' legacy and him just as an absolutely dominant champion and being the guy in WWE. So Roman Reigns holds the belt post SummerSlam, and I think Obafemi beats and retires Brock Lesnar inside Hell in a Cell. And then the next PLE, maybe post Survivor Series, because I think at Survivor Series, Roman Reigns is going to be in War Games. Obafemi is also going to be in War Games. They're setting that up a little bit with the six-man tag team match with Big Jim, Jey Uso, and Jacob Fatu versus Solo, Royce Keys, and LA Knight at SummerSlam. Then Roman Reigns is going to be involved in that. Obafemi might be involved in that. You'll see that clash at Survivor Series War Games. And then eventually, to kind of end the year or to start the year, you'll see Obafemi versus Roman Reigns, and Obafemi will beat Roman Reigns to become world heavyweight champion, and that'll be kind of the crowning and the passing of a new torch from Roman Reigns to Obafemi. And Obafemi's crowd reaction on the July 13th edition of Monday Night Raw was unbelievable. I was live in attendance in SmackDown in Oklahoma City, and I heard Obafemi come out because he came out post show to have a match with Rusev to send the crowd home happy, and people are obsessed. I'm obsessed with Obafemi. They have it right there, just like they have something great with Chad Gable. And then another crowd reaction that was absolutely massive, I just mentioned his name, was LA Knight. And LA Knight's crowd reactions have been massive for a long time now. I would have picked LA Knight to be a world champion over Sami Zayn. I would have picked LA Knight to be a world champion over Jey Uso, but WWE gave Jey Uso and Sami Zayn world championships before they gave it to LA Knight, and I just don't know if LA Knight's time is ever going to come, but fans still love him, they still chant with him, and they still want to see him in the main event picture, and he is because he's sort of attached to the hip with the bloodline. I've loved for him to get away from the bloodline stuff and really start kind of a one-on-one feud, and then move his way up into the world title picture because, again, he's better than Jey Uso, he's better than Sami Zayn, and the crowd is absolutely obsessed with him. So I noticed those two big things for Obafemi and LA Knight. And then for Seth Rollins finally saved himself from last week's horrendously boring promo where LA Knight saved him. Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins had a really good back and forth here. I also like the video stories regarding Rollins and Reigns because it's just smart to bring those to an audience who might not be super familiar or have known that or seen that or anything before like that. I mean, most WWE fans, yes, are familiar that Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins have an extensive history, but what if you have a WWE fan who entered the picture about a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, or during Roman Reigns' kind of reign of terror, and now they're not really sure of the history? You got to give people exactly what they need to understand the story. One of the best pieces of advice I got when I was coming up as a professional wrestler was every single time you walk down the ramp or enter the arena or enter the ring, pretend nobody knows who you are and explain it to them, because you're probably doing that to the 1 or 2, 3, 4, 5 people in the audience who don't know who you are. Maybe everyone else does, but now you're gaining new fans and you're telling a new story every time you show up. And so I think Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins did a great job. I also think Seth Rollins had all the chances in the world to be the top guy. He is a top guy, but he's not as top as Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns is the god of WWE. His aura is unmatched, his vibe is unmatched, and Seth Rollins has not reached that level. Roman Reigns is the top, then you probably have a Cody Rhodes, then you probably have a CM Punk, and then you kind of have everybody else who's the top guys. But those three, Roman Reigns being the top, Cody Rhodes being right there, and unfortunately CM Punk also being up there, are bigger than your Gunthers, your Drew McIntyres, your Seth Rollins. But like all 6 of those guys are top guys, but there is no one bigger than Roman Reigns. There is no one who moves more tickets than Roman Reigns. And Seth Rollins, I think internally, whether it's real or not, is a little salty about that. And I think that is true. So I'm very excited for that match. Again, I think Roman Reigns defends and retains that title at SummerSlam to eventually drop it to our pal Obafemi. And then Chad Gable is literally the easiest creative decision Triple H has at SummerSlam. Absolutely no brainer. Chad Gable wins the gauntlet. Chad Gable goes into SummerSlam, beats Penta for the Intercontinental Championship, and wins that Intercontinental Championship in his hometown of Minneapolis and home state, right? From his hometown audience, Chad Gable beats Penta, becomes the Intercontinental Champion, and then we'll see where that can go. Because I have LA Knight and Chad Gable as future world champions. I don't have Javon Evans as a future world champion. I can't really stand Trick Williams. I think Obafemi, Chad Gable, and LA Knight all have the ability to be world champions. The Sami Zayn experiment is over. The Jey Uso experiment is over. I think those 3 guys have the potential to win the big one in 2027 or 2028. Now, if it doesn't happen in about a year and a half for LA Knight, it's done. I know Chad Gable's also up in age, but now he's just kind of reinvigorated his career, and we'll see where it can go. Now, who we thought was a world champion material, Braun Breaker, not really sure what's happening with Braun Breaker. Not really sure what he's doing at this point. He had a ton of great momentum, and it seems like it's stalled. It seems like it's stalled because they needed to pull the trigger on Braun Breaker early. They should have pulled the trigger on him winning the World Heavyweight Championship against CM Punk on, I think, the 1-year anniversary of Raw on Netflix. They didn't. Now he's kind of floating in the wind. I like Logan Paul and Maxine Dupree as kind of the mouthpieces of the Vision, but we can't just have Braun Breaker kind of just float around in the ether and be like this tag team guy. He's not a tag team guy. He's a main event player. Braun Breaker, Obafemi, Chad Gable, LA Knight. These guys are main event players. They're future world champions. I just don't see that in Trick Williams. I just don't see that in Javon Evans. And maybe WWE gets them there, but these are the guys. I mean, I'm not saying they're young guys. I'm super high on Ethan Page. I think Ethan Page is fantastic. Rusev, fantastic. A world champion, yes. But not everyone can be world champion. It's not a time and place for everyone to be world champion. So you have to pick your spots. And I think Obafemi is that next guy. And depending on how Chad Gable does as Intercontinental Champion, he might also be up if he can kind of garner that sort of Kurt Angle type momentum. But again, if I had to describe Monday Night Raw in one word, it would be focused. They pretty much touched on everything they needed to touch on heading into SummerSlam. Whether you liked it or not, it doesn't matter, but they try to hit all of the stuff. I enjoy the July 13th edition of Monday Night Raw. I'd love to know what you think in the comments down below. Drop them right there. Then like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys next time. Lots of love. Cheers.